Hello everyone. In this video lecture, let's summarize transportation problem. Let's begin. The first thing we want to understand is what is a transportation problem. So we'll have certain number of sources. This can be any number. I have just taken example of 4 sources. So these sources can be manufacturing plants or factories. And then there will be certain number of destinations. And there is a product which is being manufactured at the sources. It needs to be transported from the sources to the destinations. So that's the whole philosophy of a transportation problem. And these sources and destinations and the product brings with itself some data, and we need to learn how to represent the data in the matrix form. So each source is represented by a row, and in front of each row on the right hand side we write the respective supply of each source, which is denoted by AIs, and each column represent a destination, and below each column we write the demand respective at each destination, and in each cell we write the cost of transportation per unit of the product being transported, which is denoted by Cij and written in the upper right corner of each cell. So after this data representation, what do we want to do with this problem? We want to actually solve this problem. So meaning of finding the solution of transportation problem is we actually want to figure out which source will be transporting to which destination and how many number of units it will be transporting. So there are certain steps need to be followed to reach at the solution. The very first step which we have to do whenever we are given any transportation problem is we have to first check whether the problem is a maximization problem or it is minimization. This information will be coming from the statement of the question. You have to thoroughly read the question and identify that whether the underlying quantity needs to be maximized or minimized. For example, if it is there profit is given, so profits need to be maximized. If cost price is given, so cost needs to be minimized. So if the problem is already a minimization problem, then nothing to do at this step. However, if it is a maximization problem, then we need to convert it to minimization first. So suppose you have now problem minimization type, or converted to minimization type, then go to the next step. So read the statement of the question again and try to identify whether there are any additional restrictions given. Means in addition to the supply data, the demand data and the cost of transportation, if any additional information is given to you to impose any restriction on the system, then you have to incorporate those restrictions at this step. And after that you have to check whether the problem is balanced or not. Means if total supply is equal to total demand, that means the problem is balanced and nothing to do at this step. However, if problem is unbalanced, then you have to see if supply is less than demand, you add a row. If supply is greater than demand, you add a column. And after balancing the problem, we proceed towards finding the initial basic feasible solution, which can be found by any of the 3 available techniques: northwest corner rule, least cost method, or Vogel's approximation method. Any one of these 3 techniques can be used, but I'll always prefer Vogel's approximation method. And then you have to find the optimal solution using UV method. Remember, for finding the optimal solution there is just one technique, and that is UV method. So after this step, the last step is finding the alternate optimal solution. So for this you have to read the statement of the question again, because this step we have to execute only if we are asked to look for alternate optimal solution. Otherwise there is no need to do that, and that too provided the alternate optimal solution exists. So if an alternate optimal solution exists, you find it, otherwise the question finishes there only. So this completes the process of finding the solution of a transportation problem. And to know the details of each and individual step involved, you have to go through all the video lectures on the topic transportation problem which I have shared. So that's all about transportation problem. In our next video, we'll talk about assignment problem.